Hey gents, today we're diving into a topic that might stir things up a bit. Why isn't the nice guy attractive to women? And why is it that if nice guys do attract women, they fail to attract feminine women? And before we get into this, let's make one thing crystal clear. This isn't about dissing kindness, open-mindedness, or gentleness. Those qualities are gold standards in any human being. But here's the thing. Sometimes, despite being an all-round good person, the nice guy might not spark that flame of attraction. High-quality women often find themselves just put off, or your relationship itself will fall flat, toxic, or contentious. Why? Well, that's what this video is about. Let's unpack this. First, let's talk about protection. Whether we like it or not, there's a certain expectation about manhood that involves protection. In crisis situations, a feminine woman will never feel truly safe with a man who can't stand up for her. Atop of this, there's a crisis of femme men now, where the warrior role is ignored. The archetypal warrior has the potential for aggression but learns to hone it and be peaceful. This balance is crucial, but you see commonly the feminized baby girl men, where women paint men to be in a box that's somewhat attractive, is reduced to an innocent side of men, is reduced to the rat men, is funnily creating a box that makes men feel like they need to attain this standard that's actually not masculine nor attractive. And if men are playing by the standard to appease women, it gets bad. Men then denigrate, eliminate any parts of them that see not a fit in those boxes, and then lose their own masculinity. And when we fall into this trap, this baby girl men box that we may want to fit in, it may be used as a seduction to get close to a straight woman. If we believe that's how we get close, we adopt that manhood. And while the illusion of closeness makes them feel connected to women, it still ultimately puts them off from your partner potential. And it's ironic because all along it could be an avoidance tactic where some women who are incompatible for your relationship with you, who are masculine women, who are not too feminine and probably just want to push away closeness, are the ones dictating how you should be to fall into a relationship. So this is a narrative we have to eliminate. But on the flip side, a passive guy without much meaning, passion, or a reason to fight can come across as flaccid. Indecisiveness and lack of autonomy turn into burdens for women. They don't want another kid to look after. It's important to recognize that kindness, open-mindedness, and gentleness are not weaknesses. And women can play a part in encouraging the balanced narrative, as they too are core proponents to why, as social creatures, we naturally step into roles that are not yet fulfilled. Masculinized women create the gap for feminized men. That said, despite the social pulls and conflict, men must embody strength and independence regardless, because true masculinity is leadership against all odds. A nice guy who is permissive with the tides will accept the narrative rather than actually challenge it. Another key concept is Karpman's drama triangle, which includes 3 roles: the rescuer, the oppressor, and the victim. The nice guy often slips into the rescuer and victim roles, leaving room for someone else to become the perpetrator. This dynamic can lead to toxic relationships, where the race to the bottom seems safe because it's familiar. So, what are the turn-ons? Well, if you're in the rescuer role, you need to come home to yourself, audit what's important, and take responsibility for yourself. Victims need to exercise assertiveness. Oppressors need to self-soothe and exercise discernment. All these roles have roots in issues with anger and a need for control. So don't pretend to be alpha or stoic if that's not who you are. They'll sniff a fake from a mile away. Attractiveness is deeply tied to authenticity. For example, if you love art, don't hide it to seem more manly. Be predictable to a point. Natural authenticity isn't necessarily predictable. Be it, but don't be seductive or a mask of what you are not. So to sum it up, why does this happen? Why do we become nice guys? Well, we may have a wound with anger. Many nice guys have killed off that part of who they truly are. No deep sense of meaning can be a reason. This void can make a person seem flat and uninspiring. There could be a hormonal imbalance. Practices like semen retention, regular exercise, martial arts, or CrossFit can definitely help here. Understanding the cycle of stress and recovery and that aggression or activation isn't forever. It's temporary and useful for the purpose that it has. Also, low self-esteem can be an issue. This can manifest as a lack of assertiveness or autonomy. There's a lack of independency, and codependency is a turn-off because, again, you become a burden. Who isn't able to take care of themselves, is somebody who relies on others to feel full. There is a distorted idea of nice versus kind as well. Being nice isn't the same as being kind. Kind is coming from a place of true authenticity, a grounded place. It's a place where you're full and you're giving, and there's an intent behind that. Whereas being nice is a protective play. It's performative rather than being. Now, the drama triangle dynamics comes in as well. Falling into the roles of rescuer or victim permits others to take on the masculine role. So again, see those archetypes within yourself. Where are you becoming a tragic hero, which just creates more issues down the line? And where are you playing the victim role, where you feel like you need someone to rescue you, protect you, and that you think the world is unfair? Because the reality is we kind of need to suck up these narratives that we are responsible in many ways for how we exist and how the world around us interacts with us. Nobody's going to come and save us. And that's something I learned, especially with my financial situation and also with my lack of success finding the one that I have married today. There were many times where I felt God has it figured out for me and something magical will come around the corner. But honestly, there's a nice element of having faith, but at the same time, there takes a courageous, assertive action to be taken. It comes from you. You must make the plan and you must fit yourself into that plan in order to take the action to allow the plan to manifest. And if not, because masculinity is defined by order, structure, leadership, assertiveness, control to an extent. And if we've lost that masculine part of us, we outsource all of those aspects to other people. And this becomes toxic or bad or flat when this is now outsourced to our romantic partner, because that's something they're leaning into us to create the dynamic of spark, this attraction, the yin and yang in relationship. So do not allow your partner to take on the masculine role and try and integrate it into your life as best as you possibly can now. Ultimately, becoming attractive requires you to step into your warrior, who is kind, protects, provides, and leads. From the book, The Way of the Superior Man by David Dada, one of my favorites, there's practical ways to embody this part of you. And one of which is orgasm retention. Hear me out. And that is orgasming up the spine. It shows you that you have the mindfulness to refrain from weak impulses and shows your woman and yourself you have will and are firm and rooted in your mission rather than submit to quick gratification and pleasure. A warrior is boundaried. He values hers and his time, and also energy, as well as protects his and hers vulnerability. Now, this is a fine line to tread. Being too available has its cons. I was once the nice guy at school, aged 16 or 17, who got along with women more than I did my guy friends at the times. I was always responsive, accessible, and spent lots of time with my girlfriends, who could otherwise be romantic interests. This is where I fell into the friend zone, and even alienated other male friends. It's true, absence does create desire, but it must be dealt with intentionally and respectfully. Disclaimer here, as an ex-relationship coach, being an avoidant male is not attractive and is damaging to those who may anxiously seek your reassurance. So please be conscious and also intentional with your avoidance. Ways to protect your vulnerability and hers is not by dumping, not oversharing, acknowledging, not needing to seek solutions, but hold a grounded, trustworthy energy. You also keep yours and hers information sacred rather than share with peers or dump it on social media. So protect your vulnerability and get clear on what's sacred to you and what you're willing to be a warrior to protect. While I get it, the wounded feminine who is gossipy, judgmental, hypersensitive, critical, and conniving can also bring out the nice guy in you. Despite it all, you can always see and salvage what you have by embodying your masculine core. If you do all you can, then it may be time to take agency over your environment and get out, to seek a partner that truly respects you and brings out your core masculine. And I noticed this even in my own relationship. My wife won't mind me saying this, but she was once a go-getter, rather high functioning, and could be more hypersensitive to humor. Over time, I've stood in being more decisive, planning the important stuff like flights, trips, accommodation, being more firm in my leadership, and embodying the energy of I'll take care of it, rather than look to her for leadership. I was also actively vulnerable, initiating compliments and intimate acts, because this is hard. It's putting ourselves up for rejection. And I noticed even being chivalrous is vulnerable. And I have to say, chivalry isn't dead, gents. Lean into this part of your nature. The result, she'll become more relaxed, leaned more into her natural feminine role. And voila, me and her now have a baby. She's an incredible mother, and I've gained a new confidence of being a provider, as I've practiced a lot of what I've mentioned in this video. Even the Bible reinforces there's a natural order of protection. God protects Jesus. Jesus protects man. And man protects woman. And woman protects child. And stay with me, because you may be thinking, oh gosh, that's so bloody backwards. How dare you? And it may be perceived as patriarchal to you, but there's some inherent order and truth to this if adopted wholesomely. The man is the mortal who protects his wife against the devil. That be physical, emotional, and temptational threats. As with Adam and Eve, Eve was the one seduced by the snake to eat the apple and condemn their consciousness and purity. In our modern world, this comes in the pull of social media, OnlyFans, and the 7 sins: greed, pride, lust, etc. The devil can manipulate the tender nature of the feminine, and the masculine, with his strong, calm confidence, must protect her. And it's not to say the feminine can't protect themselves, but inherently it helps to fight evil as a team. Okay. And it gives even more reason for a man not to embody a self that does not sin, for he is the example, the source of guidance and protection from it. If there is no discipline, there is no direction nor order and attraction. A nice guy can be that weak, manipulated target for these cardinal sins. So why doesn't the nice guy turn women on? You may have already guessed it, but he doesn't demonstrate a sense of protection, which women find attractive. He is passive and indecisive, making a woman feel insecure and triggering her to take on a more masculine role. She's just not sexually attracted to that kind of energy. However, this doesn't mean men should just become cold. A man can be kind-hearted, masculine, and assertive all at the same time. So we've covered it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you balance kindness and assertiveness in your life? I love to hear your insights and stories. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for new weekly videos to come on subjects like masculinity, relationships, mental health, and the likes. I hope to help you along your journey of self-discovery to the greatest relationships you could ever create. I'll see you on the next one.